Now we're live, and yeah, take it away, Jimmy.
Cool. Welcome to an Indie Bandit stream on YouTube. A little bit different, doing it on YouTube rather than Twitch now, but welcome.
Yes.
Um, this stream it will be all about our upcoming marketing lab, and with me today I have the other half of the Indie Bandits, Joe.
Doing a big point. I've got me branding on point here underneath the name. New graphics, new logos, new indie bandits, big changes. That's why we're
Yeah,
doing this, isn't it?
that's the only reason.
Just
There is no lab; it's just us talking about the new branding.
it should be
Yeah.
though. It's good. New logos.
I do feel like I'm in some sort of bat cave the way I've got this room set.
Well, I do have a Batcave mode myself. If oh Batcave mode. Anyway, let's not faffing about. It's Friday night.
But yes, well, we just thought we would do a quick stream where we could talk to people about the marketing lab, the reason we set it up, the value I think we we believe it can bring to the indie dev community, and we'll just go through who it's for and all the different features that will be a part of it, and when we're thinking about launching it as well.
yeah,
And then, of course, if anyone has any questions, we can answer them either live on stream or we can answer them after the stream's been completed and this video will be available on demand.
exactly.
So we just did a stream talking about some of the changes that are coming to Indie Bandits in general.
Shout
And
out to
that
the
was,
patrons and their exclusive stream.
yes, that was an exclusive stream for the patrons who get the opportunity to become more active in the decision making and the behind the scenes stuff that goes on with Indie Bandits. But one of the things we really wanted to launch was something we've been thinking about for a while, which is the marketing lab. And I think the best thing to do is just to jump straight in. The link is below in the what's that called,
Description.
the blurb bit of
The
the.
the the doobly doo is its
Yes, yeah,
official
that's what's
YouTube
called the
name. In
technical term. Yeah,
no, in YouTube lore,
uh,
it's the doobly doo. Trust
the
me.
doobly do. Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. It's in there. So if anyone does want to check out the landing page, obviously you'll get all the information there as well. But I just thought maybe we could flesh out a little bit and give some of the reasons why we decided to set this up. So I'll just jump straight into what the Indie Bandits Marketing Lab is, and then we'll go through each of the different aspects of it bit by bit. So the Indie Bandits Marketing Lab, I'm just going to call it the Marketing Lab from now because Indie Bandits Marketing Lab is two words too many at this stage.
Yeah.
It's an online community for indie devs who want to build an effective online presence and get marketing guidance without having to hire a part-time or full-time marketer.
Who are
So
expensive. Just
they are, yeah,
get
they
that
cost a
straight
fair
in there.
amount of money. And not just in wages, everyone always goes to how much the wage is going to cost. If you actually factor in all the other stuff as well, you start to, it becomes very expensive. And by the way, we are not saying for 1 second that if you had the means to be able to hire a marketer, that
Oh
would
no,
be a bad move. It
no,
absolutely would
marketers
not be a bad
are
move.
worth it. Like
Yes, this is more for the indie devs who know they need marketing help. They want to market their games well because they want their games to be commercially successful, because they want their game to be something they can do full time and it earns them an income. But maybe they don't yet have the budget to get part time or full time marketing help. So we thought, after running Indie Bandits for 5 years and hearing nonstop about how marketing is probably the biggest struggle indie devs have when it comes to developing their games and selling their games, as marketers ourselves, we thought one of the best ways we could support the community was by offering some form of marketing help. And obviously, there's loads of different ways we could have done that, but
and loads of different ways we have already done that.
and loads of different ways we
Just
have already done that. But those
big up
being
five
sort of,
years of hard work.
yes, yeah, but with those being sort of mainly free or very, very low cost kind of Patreon support level help, we were never really able to do anything massive. So it was always small bits here and there that we believe, certainly they did help and we were happy to do it. And we think we have supported the community quite well. And I think that the feedback we've gotten from everybody would also uh,
I'll back that
prove
up.
that,
Yeah.
back that up. But yeah, with the marketing lab, we really wanted to figure out a way that we could combine the expertise that me and Joe have from over 20 odd years of combined experience working in marketing. How can we deliver that to indie devs in a way that actually means something to them, where they can get value, ongoing value, for an affordable price? And the lab and the cohorts within the lab was the way we came up with, so that it wasn't just one on one, because there's no way that would be affordable. That's where it would essentially become hiring.
It'd be regular marketing. It would just be
It would
marketing
be, yeah, at that point.
consultancy,
So
and
we
then
can't do that. This is not our full time job. This is something we do in addition to the work that we do full time. So this had to be a time efficient way that we could impart our knowledge, bring a cohort of indie devs together who can also help each other throughout the process, and have an ongoing um, communication where we can educate indie devs on how to market their games more effectively, and then provide feedback on any marketing that has been done as well. And that's a couple of little things that will be a part of this. The things that we're hoping indie devs will become more effective at if they join the lab is obviously marketing their game, creating content to help market their game, overall online visibility through marketing, strangely enough, and also an important aspect of marketing that I think is really relevant for indie devs is personal branding as well,
yeah,
so that people can see the person behind the game. Because I think that if you get that right, can be a really powerful marketing technique.
yeah. I mean, just add here because obviously we're started, and not to talk down anyone. Don't we've done our research. We've asked the community. There's a new report coming for the state of independent game development. We did one last year where we found out loads, which kind of, you know, we already had thoughts about doing this lab or something similar, but by the time we'd pulled the community and found out what was going on, this kind of became a no brainer.
Yeah,
Anyway, what we had found out was that devs don't particularly like marketing, know they need to do it, don't do enough of it, and generally admit that their level of understanding in marketing is very low. So, you know, if you feel by anyways that, like, the language being used is, alien to you, that's totally normal. Like, it's going to, as we explain this, but for the purpose of this, you want to call it a lab, you want to call it like a course or a workshop. The semantics of each of these, these kind of words, is the idea is that you're going to become better at the skills we've mentioned over a course of time with fellow indie devs as well as us. So, where there are a few ways we do this, but if you think of it like a workshop or a course, that I feel that would help a lot to, kind of wrap your head around what we're offering. It's like, whilst also working on projects which are marketing your indie game. Like, instead of homework and coursework that you'd have in a kind of class, you're going to be doing things that are useful for marketing your game, which are then used to actually market your game. It's not, no busy work here. This is not, you'll learn about marketing. You'll learn how to more effectively market your game, create content, and personal branding. But you'll also be getting something out of it while you do it. So I think,
yeah,
if you feel lost in any sense with the language or anything, don't worry about that for the time being, because obviously, we have our background in marketing. We know many indie devs, especially in our community, do not. So,
yeah.
God,
And
don't be scared.
no, I think you touched on a really good point there. It's not just theory that get. You'll actually, as we go through this, you will market your indie game more often and more effectively, and all the way through, you'll be getting feedback on how that's working and where you can improve it and how to interpret the results that you're getting. And so it's very much, you'll get practical advice and practical tips on how you things that you can actually do straight away to start marketing your games more effectively. And we want the whole thing as well, I've talked about feedback. It's not about criticizing what it is you're doing
No, no.
at any stage. You know, the whole point of this is that we're taking people who perhaps, as Joe said, haven't really done marketing before, and they're taking their first steps into marketing. So they're not going to have the same. We're certainly not expecting to be talking to anybody who's at the same level of experience that me and Joe are at. So we're going to treat this as, the idea being it's a safe space for anyone who joins, for learning, for support from us and your fellow indie devs, and for as well the key part of this is accountability. You know, without that accountability, this is it's not. I'm not really sure there's any value from this. Really,
No,
it's that whole account.
you'll not get stuff done. Like, I trust
Yes.
that devs are busy enough. We've seen devs are busy enough making their games that things like
Mhm.
marketing falls by the wayside. And I
It
don't think
does.
this is because devs don't, I mean, a lot of them don't want to market their game because, the marketing part is often seen as not as exciting. But as you said, if you're not being held accountable for marketing your game, it's very common for indie devs to, when it's time to actually do some marketing, or create some content, or do anything that would be considered roughly a marketing activity, it's often seen as time they could spend working on their game, and then devs convince themselves that the extra time, I don't know, refining a feature or removing a bug or working on some new content for the game is better than actually taking the time to market it. And in hindsight, when they release their game and it doesn't perform as well as possible, then they realize that time should have been spent with a better ratio of game development to game marketing. And with this accountability, you'll know that you have, call it homework, call it a task, call it a project, whatever. You have something to do, and you know that the next time you interact with or meet up with the cohort of your fellow devs, not us, we're not the like the headmaster. You're not going to be sent to like our office and get a telling off. It's, you'll be held accountable by your fellow devs. The same devs that are going to be working just as hard on their marketing as you are. And the idea behind this is that this will spur everyone in the cohort on, a bit of fun competition, helping each other, learning together. The benefits of peer learning are, as great as the benefits of just learning from a teacher or an expert.
Yeah, and if you've got a group of people all doing the same thing, you can all support each other. You get support from us. There's the accountability to make sure that the things are getting done, and that accountability will help you prioritize your marketing more. So it's not just, as you've said, like, oh, I've got homework to do. It's no, you will actually want to do that thing because you're being held accountable amongst all your indie dev cohort who are also being held accountable. You'll all it will, as Joe said, spur all of you on to do more of this marketing because you're going to want to do it. One, because you want your games to be successful, and without marketing your games, sorry, the stats are really grim. They probably won't be successful.
Yeah.
Um, and you're going to want that feedback to make sure the marketing you are doing is as effective as possible. And from a networking perspective as well, the idea behind it, you're going to start to learn from lots of other devs who, and maybe you'll find some sort of allies within the indie dev community as well, who are all going through a very similar thing that you are, in terms of, I've got this game, I want it to be commercially successful, but I don't know where to start with my marketing. Well, you're all in the same boat. You can all help each other out, and we're here to support as well. And I think that could be something where we can really offer a lot of value.
Yeah.
But what exactly will you get if you join the marketing lab? There's quite a few things you'll get out of it. I'll run through each of them.
Yeah.
We can have a chat about them. Now, some of these are probably subject to change,
Yeah.
but they won't change in massive ways. They'll probably just change very, very slightly. So I'll read them all out, but there might be the tiny little bits of change here and there for them. So one thing you'll definitely get is monthly Marketing Lab video calls. And that is where we'll all jump on a call, we'll all collaborate, learn, and share together on the call, um, in a safe space where, the idea behind it is support and encouragement to produce marketing materials and produce better marketing materials. As part of those marketing calls, you'll also get personalized feedback as well. So we may pick one or two people per call to sort of look at what they've been doing and how the wider group might learn from that. So everyone always learns regardless of who's being picked to discuss that week. But aside from that, you'll all get personalized feedback on the marketing that you're producing, whether that be during the call or after the call.
Yeah. Also,
Uh,
throughout the course of obviously throughout the course itself, if we want to call the entire cohort period a course, during that time, obviously, as you said, it won't be everyone at the same time. Mechanically,
no,
that
it's
wouldn't
impossible.
be possible. That would just be a. It's also it's not always valuable for everyone to do that, but everyone will get their personalized feedback. Either if it's something that's valuable to the entire group, then it'll be addressed to the entire group, and something if there's something we can all learn from that somebody's done, for example, or some marketing materials that we want to provide feedback on, and then there are lessons that can be learned from this that are applicable to the whole group, then obviously we'll highlight those more than someone who has a very specific case. In that case, they'll likely be given their personalized feedback, you know, either you know after the call or after any kind of cohort session.
Yeah, yeah. The video calls have to be geared towards
Everyone.
how can we make sure that everyone's getting value out of this call, and then we'll treat everyone else individually in a separate way as well. On top of that, just to make sure that you're receiving ongoing personalized advice, feedback, um, highlighting areas for improvement mainly, and also for encouragement as well. If you've done something really good, we'll say you've done something really good. There's not going to be just nothing but kind of, oh, do this better, do this
Yeah.
better. It's the idea is to be a space where you can feel like what you're getting out of it is something you can apply to your game straight away, and feel like you understand what works and what doesn't work very quickly, and how to do it more effectively and more efficiently as well. Because I know one of the big reasons indie devs struggle with marketing is they're strapped for time. So
Yeah.
it's there's a few different ways we'll be able to help. Um, Content ideas and advice is another thing as well. So obviously, when we do the video calls, when we have any communication with you, we'll always be looking to share some advice that we've got on what we see as working from the wider indie games community, not just
Mhm.
sort of generic marketing advice. It'd be stuff that we've seen as working, maybe breakdowns of how certain indie games have become very successful. What can we learn from how those games became successful, and how can you apply that knowledge to your business? And I say business because if you want your game to be commercially successful, then you are running a business.
Yeah.
So it's important to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is yeah. Go on.
It's the for many it's the last thing they want to hear. But if you want to make a financially viable product, your game is a product, and obviously, if you're interested in this, it's because you want your game to be successful, and if it's successful, that's because it's a good product that's marketed well. It's
Yes, because we discussed before, um, average products, average games promoted well will always outperform great games that
marketed
haven't been
poorly.
promoted. It's just the nature of the world, really. You need to market your business. I always go back to an example of why on earth do studios as massive as Marvel and um, Disney, I guess in particular, I guess why do they spend huge sums of money marketing their movies? Like everyone knows Disney exists,
Yeah.
everyone knows about the Marvel franchise, everyone knows about Star Wars, everyone knows about everything Disney does, and yet they still continue to spend insane, eye-watering sums of money marketing every single one of the products that they produce, because they know even at their level, which is like the zenith of business levels,
Mm.
they still have to put money behind and effort behind marketing, because without it, even they won't hit the targets that they want. So, it really is a necessary thing. It's a law of running any type of business where you are wanting to sell a product to gain some money and an income.
Well, the marketing school example is the same with McDonald's or Coca Cola, like two of the
Yeah,
biggest and most recognizable brands, and you can likely name an advert of theirs. Like you will have
yeah,
seen marketing for them. You will see adverts for Coca Cola or McDonald's, everywhere. Like
yeah,
no matter where you go, like almost in the world, there are marketing materials. So products do not sell themselves. Like even the
no,
biggest, most instantly recognizable products do not sell themselves. So, we need to start with the idea that the horrible idea that no matter how good your indie game is, if it is not marketed, it will not sell. You cannot rely on just word of mouth or people are just going to fall in love with it and buy it. Like,
no.
if that doesn't work for
Especially not.
McDonald's and,
Yeah,
and Disney and Marvel and Coca Cola, it's not going to work for a tiny indie dev team that's already fighting the uphill battle of trying to beat the massive players. How much advertising does EA do, for example?
yeah,
To keep
exactly.
it
Yeah,
in the to keep
yeah,
it in the video game space. Massive companies are present at you know almost every show. They have marketing materials everywhere. They spend a fortune on marketing. To be within a fighting chance, you need to be marketing your game and marketing it well. And you can learn from them. You can learn from indie devs, possibly more applicably, indie devs that have done it well. Unfortunately, we've been doing this we've been doing just indie bandits, not marketing. We've been doing just indie bandits for 5 years. And I like to think, paired with our marketing experience, our professional marketing experience, and the fact that we've had our ear to the ground for at least 5 years just in an indie bandits capacity, that I think we've got a pretty good eye for what works, what doesn't, and will be au fait with what is working and what isn't working in that space, and can then obviously pass that on to members of any lab cohort.
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Um, Obviously, we hope that with the pricing structure that we've got set up, this is going to be cost-effective marketing support. So you will be getting, the benefits of a team of professional marketers, i.e., me and Joe, without having to pay the hefty price of, as we discussed before, part-time or full-time marketing support, or even one-off consultancy or strategy, which can also be very, very expensive. And in some cases, rightly so, because they're bringing a lot of expertise to the table. But we knew that doing something like that would be, well, it wouldn't be helpful because if every indie dev had budget, then marketing wouldn't be a problem. So
Yeah,
um, you'll get access to exclusive learning content as well. So as we go through the lab, obviously we'll get all the videos will be available on demand. Anything that we do through the video calls will be on demand. We'll also produce other materials alongside the video calls um, to provide more information and maybe a bit more advice as well. So you'll get exclusive access to that. Nobody else will get those. Anything that we put together, any deep dives into, as we've said before, any sort of campaigns that we've noticed that they've done very well, or any indie dev studios that have done very well, we can break some of those down and share them with you. And you'll get that exclusively. There'll be the exclusive members email. So we'll get in touch with you guys uh, probably on a monthly basis. And that will include all of the information that's been collated within that last month. So it'll have links to the lab calls in case you missed those. It'll have the exclusive learning content in it. That's where we'll probably be able to share some more feedback on some of the marketing materials that we've seen as well, which I think in most cases we'll probably try and share across the cohort just so that everybody's benefiting from the feedback that
yeah,
we can give. Um, because otherwise it's just going to feel very separated. It's not going to feel like a cohort if we kind of
yeah,
just treat everybody as an individual. It's better to kind of treat it as the whole cohort. At the end of a cohort as well, upon sort of graduation, I guess, of the cohort, um, we'll do a showcase of your game and your marketing, and not just with our cohort, but that's where we'll bring in our wider audience that we've been building for the last 5 years. When we feel, you guys have pulled together some great marketing materials and you've got a game that's ready to show, then we can help you promote all of that stuff not just on your own channels, but via the Indie Bandits channels as well, um, where you'll be able to get a really nice boost to any of the marketing that you're doing. So that's a pretty big benefit, but that only comes upon completion of the cohort. We
Yeah.
can't be doing that kind of all the way through. Um, and then obviously, as we've discussed before, the accountability, but friendly accountability. It's not about chasing you up and hammering you like a teacher would at school if you didn't do your homework. It's just about encouragement, um, because we want to see you do it and we want to see you get better at it as well.
Yeah.
So
And that's how you get the
the-
most out of it,
exactly, if you
by
if you
doing it.
join don't do anything, then yeah, you're going to get very little out of it except reading the maybe some of the deep
Like
dives. But unless you
supplemental
actually,
materials.
but yeah, but without applying that, you're in the same position. Essentially, you can read all the theory you want. You can learn by watching YouTube videos as much as you want, but until you actually start doing it, nothing's going to happen. So that's where the accountability comes in. Right.
Yeah.
After explaining all that, I thought it'd be worth me and Joe just giving a little bit of a background about ourselves. So if you want to get started, Joe, just a little bit about yourself and your marketing background.
Yeah, because I was going to say this is obviously this is a fairly huge shift for us. We've been on streams and we've done Indie Bandits for a while, but I feel that not maybe the audience doesn't really know the people behind it.
Yeah.
So basically,
Yeah, we've not been too upfront about that type of thing yet, have we? So we're
we've
going to
kind
do a
of
lot more of that.
obviously we've not had anything to hide. It's just a case of
No.
our entire focus has been celebrating indie games, and this was always something from the early days of Indie Bandits that our number one focus was promoting and celebrating independent games. So there wasn't any need to know who we were or really what we've done. Obviously, if you've followed us for a while, you might recognize us from streams or the podcast or you know or typically northern accents for those who are familiar with the English language. But I'll start. Jimmy and I have known each other for years. We grew up together. We both do different things at the moment, but it's both we both do marketing related work. Our day jobs are heavily involved with marketing. I'm actually a marketing graduate. I studied marketing at university, and I also studied languages. I did a split degree, and I've done quite a few things before the work I'm in now. But I've worked in companies as a marketing manager. I've done data analysis, and that will not go on about that because that job was boring as hell, which is why I don't do it anymore. But I've taught. I was I've taught English in various places around the world, and where I've landed now is I'm actually a marketing focused translator and copywriter. So my work, my day job outside of Indie Bandits is to create content, be it original content, that I write myself or from a foreign language, and usually with a marketing slant on it. So all of the content I create usually is marketing texts or text that serves some kind of marketing purpose. And just that I've done for the last decade. So writing and creating content for marketing has been the last 10 years of my life. But my previous work was also in marketing, in teaching, and I like to think that's put me in a pretty sweet position to do something like this, teaching people about marketing. Obviously, outside of marketing, it's fairly clear to all those involved that we're pretty avid gamers as well. You don't do something like this for 5 years just for
In your spare
fun,
time.
in your spare time, just for fun if you don't like games.
Yeah. No, you don't. Well, like Joe, I'm also someone who works in marketing. So I've been start off mainly as a copywriter. That was about 13 years ago. And then I transitioned fairly quickly after that into almost purely content marketing. So that's content strategy for businesses of all different sizes, from really small one-man bands like marketing consultancy people, finance companies, tech companies, all the way through to the likes of building societies, uh, banks, the UK government, Universal Studios, eBay. So lots of different companies doing all different types of like content across the content marketing spectrum. So that's everything from strategy through to content creation and then distribution and promotion and analysis and auditing and all that sort of stuff. I've been doing that for probably 11 of those 13 years. Um, I contribute to the Content Marketing Institute's various publications. I'm a returning judge at the Content Marketing Awards, where we look at we usually get handed a couple of categories. This year, I was actually doing the overall, the one that wins the big prize at the Content Marketing Awards, where I was looking at content strategies and campaigns from the likes of Google, um, and a makeup brand that I can't remember the name of. I think it's Maybelline. Maybelline.
Maybe
That's
it's
a makeup
Maybelline.
brand, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were setting that up.
I wasn't, but that worked out really well. Um, I think it was them. So yes, my whole professional background for just over a decade has been almost purely in content marketing for lots of different businesses in lots of different sectors. And like Joe, I feel I've got enough. I've picked up enough over those 11 years of doing that work to be able to impart something on the members of the Indie Bandits Marketing Lab cohort, so that they will hopefully get some value out of it. So that's a little bit about our professional background. Obviously, personally, we're both very interested in video games, and in particular, supporting indie games. Um, and really, that's pretty much it. Uh, there's been a bit about why we set this Indie Bandits Marketing Lab up, who it's for, and I think it's important as well to maybe mention right at the end as well about who it's not for, because it's we are not going to be able to help. This is very much for indie devs who creating an indie game is both a passion project and a commercial project as well. If creating an indie game is purely a passion project, then maybe spending money on your marketing is just something that you're just not remotely interested in. And if you're not interested in really getting involved in your marketing and you're going to be active in it, then it's certainly not worth signing up for the lab. This is really for those indie devs that are very keen on their game becoming as commercially successful as possible, and that they are ready and willing to really jump in and have a go at their marketing.
Yeah, I think I'd add that we're not selling this to convince you that marketing is valuable for your indie game. I think you need to come in already accepting the fact.
Yes.
We've got plenty of YouTube videos from our marketing clinics from last year when we looked through the results of last year's State of Independent Game report, and we looked at basically where the independent games industry was, where our community was, where they were in terms of marketing, and then we went through everything that was happening, what the result of that was. Spoiler alert, it was marketing and lack of it. But we're not, if you're not convinced, or if you're still of the opinion that marketing doesn't matter for your indie game, then you'll be coming to the wrong place trying to do this. But if you have realized and worked out how powerful marketing can be and how essential it is for the success of an independent game, and you have the ambitions that your game be that successful, then this should be the affordable option for you to get better at marketing and market your game through a process where you learn. It's a marketing class that your coursework is marketing your game better. That's who,
Yes.
for people who want to market, believe the value of marketing their game, but are struggling to do so because they feel lost within the whole arena of marketing, and
Yeah,
perhaps even maybe nervous about marketing their game, or not wanting to do any missteps. I
yeah.
feel like,
Wanting some encouragement, maybe in
well, this is why the
support.
cohort obviously works so well. Just the the cohort is one, how we make it, how we can make it affordable. Like you said, if we did one-on-one marketing consultancy, we could theoretically offer much more to an individual dev, but we wouldn't be able to set that at a price that would be affordable for most of the community. This is what we've seen from the research and the surveys and all the information we have from our community, that budget is a big issue for most devs. But by grouping together a cohort that can learn together, we can offer this at a way more affordable rate.
Yeah, sort of vastly discounted rate because it's a group rather than an individual.
Mhm.
Um, but yes, definitely, this is the lab is for those indie devs that want to see their game be commercially successful and understand that marketing has to be a part of that, but maybe don't know where to start. That's who this is for. If you are already smashing it with your marketing and you've got budget and you can hire people, then you're probably not going to get a ton of value out of this. And if you are someone who doesn't really care about marketing and doesn't really want to spend any money on marketing, and this is a passion project for you rather than a commercial project, then again, not the right place. So it's very specific who we want to who we think we can bring the most value to, I guess. And on that, in terms of an affordable cost, we should mention that the inaugural cohort, so the very first one that we're hoping to get started in the new year,
Yeah.
um, we're doing an introductory rate of $40 per month, so extremely affordable if you compare that to the price of a full time marketer, or even paying for
A game.
ads on it, yeah, or a game, or ads on a platform for a month. Cost you
Yeah.
3 to 4 figures. Um, so $40 a month if you want to pay monthly. If you prefer to pay yearly, you'll save 20%, and it'll be $400 for the year rather than 480. And that's just for the first cohort because we want to offer something in addition to what we're going to be able to do through the cohort as a thank you for those that are supporting us in the first cohort. But because we have it in this cohort design, we can't have everybody who gets in touch join us because it has to stay somewhat limited so that we can make sure each developer gets focused attention and really meaningful, valuable interaction through the cohort. If we invited everybody in and had 200 people in this cohort, there's no way everybody would feel like they were getting the same level of value out of this. So we have to keep the cohorts relatively small. We're not fully decided on what that number is yet. It has to be something manageable. But if you are interested, you should sign up really quick. I know the new year is a couple of months away, but we're already seeing a lot of interest. We've got a lot of people signed up on the through the email who've declared their interest, and we're already starting to reach the first number of what we were thinking with this first cohort. So, if you are interested, please leave your email. Click on the link below, go to the landing page, and leave your email and let us know, and we'll get back to you with some more information about how you can take part in the new year.
Yeah. The URL's lab.indiebandits.com as well if you want to go straight to it. Obviously the link works, but if for any reason you're hearing this or listening to it elsewhere, it stays fine. There's also a link to it on the Indie Bandits website. The marketing labs there. You can see the landing page that kind of explains everything that we've just talked through for you. If you need a refresher, if you need a TLDR of it, it's there. And at the very bottom of that, that's where you can find the sign up. So if you drop your email into that, that is just a sign. Obviously, that is just a sign up to receive information on the
Yeah, no
marketing lab.
commitment. There's no obligation at this point. It's just for us to know who's interested, how many people are interested, and we can then from that figure out what the right size for a cohort will be for the first cohort. Um, But as I say, it's already getting towards the number that we thought it might be. So it's certainly worth getting your name down as soon as possible. As it turns out, there are a lot of indie devs who have a marketing problem.
That is sadly very true. But that's what we're here for. This is what we've decided is the best use of our time with Indie Bandits. Obviously, just so you know, this doesn't mean Indie Bandits is stopping. This is not us fully rebranding. The lab is something extra on top of Indie Bandits that we will offer. So
Yeah,
it is both part of and separate from Indie Bandits. It's not going to replace it. There's obviously we're going to continue to celebrate independent games. There are things are going to be different. This is not something that we can continue to do exactly what we've been doing before with Indie Bandits, but this is our biggest and most ambitious project to date, and the one that we genuinely believe will provide the most value to indie devs.
yeah, definitely. Um, and it was one of those things as well where we were already doing quite a bit, but we were having to find small pockets of time here and there to do it around our day jobs and the rest of our lives that are going on. This is the Indie Bandits has always been a spare time project, and this was a way that we felt we could offer the support we really want to be able to offer, um, but we can't do all of that for free, unfortunately. There is a certain point where, well, we'd love to be able to do more with our time for Indie Bandits, but at a certain point you need to be able to put food on the table and pay the bills.
Yeah.
So this was a way that we thought tick both of those boxes, where it could be an affordable option for those that are struggling with their marketing, and it's a way we could offer uh, more valuable support to the indie dev community.
Yep. And I think just maybe to finish, it's been a long week, but I cannot stress enough how flippin' excited I am, and I'm sure Jimmy will echo this, but we ought to do this because we've said we've been doing Indie Bandits for 5 years now. We've 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 done so much for indie devs thus far.
Hmm.
We like to think that there are thousands of devs we've helped and featured, and even at the start of this year, we we mentioned there's an article on the site just talking about how much we did in 2022 for indie devs, and we've been talking about and planning something like this for for a few years, but obviously we needed the right time to move, to put it all together, to have the audience to make it worthwhile, and we
And
are
to really
we're at a
understand
point.
where we could add the most value as
Yeah.
well. Like, and I really think this, as Joe said, like, we're at a point now where I really think, looking at this is genuinely where we can add the most value. This lab is where those devs that join in our community are going to get the most from us. This will be the thing we put the most time towards. This will be the thing we're most excited about, and this is the thing where we think we can provide the most value as well. And yeah, we're both really excited to get it going in the new year.
And I think the from the very first devs that express their interest and choose to be a part of this are not gonna be disappointed. It is like there's even we have the introductory price. The regular price is $10 difference.
Yeah,
This is an amount, like I said, this is the reason when I said it, it's not even the price of a game. It's half the price of how much it costs to put your game up onto Steam. If you are a dev who's serious about marketing your game and you have bought at least one moderately big budget game this month, or regularly buy a game or two every month, and look, devs are avid gamers too, there is that overlap. This is less than half that. Well, it's about half the price of a brand new release, a brand new game, any kind of tech. This is not an insane amount of money. this is an amount of money that, depending on where you are in the world, could be dinner for, this could be one night out going for dinner. This could be buying a new game. This is, you know, several, each month learning more about marketing a game and actually marketing your game for the price of going out for dinner, buying a new game, something very mundane and routine that you can easily take out of your budget and put into something that is going to make your indie game sell more.
Yeah, It's an investment in yourself and your indie game, essentially. If you're serious about it making money, then you'll know that spending money to make money is an integral part of any business venture. Um, and we've tried to keep this. We understand the constraints that indie devs are under. We totally get it. We've talked to you guys for 5 years. We have tried to make this as affordable as we possibly can to be able to put our time into this and offer you the most value in return. So if that ticks a box for you, if it's affordable for you, if it's something that you can do, and you're really serious about getting better at marketing to make more from your indie games, then I'd really encourage you to sign up as soon as possible. We'll add you to the list and we'll be in touch very, very shortly.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us for this stream. Obviously, we'll make this video available on demand as well. You'll be hearing a lot more from us on social media, on YouTube, and in our various other forms of communication about the lab over the next couple of months as we ramp things up and we figure out when the start date is going to be and how big the first cohort is going to be. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for watching. As again, add your information into onto the landing page. Get signed up as soon as possible if you're interested, and we'll be in touch soon. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Cheers.
Draw.